Travel and Things in association with Sun Destinations, iconic destinations with amazing experiences, present In Conversation With. I'm your host, David Batsoffen, and today my guest is, I suppose I could call him the co-owner of Tatenda Guest House in Hazyview. That's Brian Chalmers. Brian, hi, welcome back to you.
Morning, David. Good to see you again.
It's always good to chat to you, and I must start off by saying to people, this Tatenda is not in the Eastern Cape. So please be aware that if you're making a booking for Tatenda in Hazyview, make sure it's in Hazyview. I know you've had guests arrive at your place that have booked into the Eastern Cape before.
Yeah, it's Eastern Cape most often, but we've discovered Tatenda in Victoria Falls as well. So,
okay, well, seeing it is it means thank you, doesn't it?
Yeah, in Shona,
which is
thank you. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, which is the language spoken in Zimbabwe, so it makes sense that there is a guest house up there named like this.
That's correct. Yes, yeah.
Now, you were saying to me just before we came to air that Gerda at the moment and the team are busy ripping out and redoing one of the rooms. There's never a dull moment at Tatenda. You guys are always on the go. Surely you're going to get to a point, Brian, where you're going to go so far and no further, because this fella, I'm sure, has had more than enough of you and your nonsense.
Yeah, I know. It's you put a 5-year plan together and say, okay, within this 5 years we will achieve these kind of targets, and
right,
maybe after that you retire, kind of thing. But circumstance dictates what you do. So of course, having seen that we're short one room, we've decided to split our 6-sleeper into a 4 and 2 sleeper, so that we have the option of an extra room.
Okay.
But to do that, of course, it needs a little bit of maintenance and renovation.
I just think you guys like building. I really do. That's the only reason.
We're driven by projects.
Yeah, and why not? Now, yeah, I recently stayed with you. It was my 3rd visit to your place. And every time I've stayed in a different room. This was the first time I've been, don't want to say upgraded to the main building, but that I spent time in this particular room. And the rooms now in the main building have all been upgraded in one way or another.
This is, yeah.
No, I was going to say, talk us through this room, because out of sight on the right-hand side of this picture is probably the best workbench I've ever worked at, or the best desk I've ever worked at.
Yeah, this is on the bed and breakfast side. So we have the self-catering side and where you've usually stayed, but this is the bed and breakfast side.
Right.
So there's no microwave in the rooms, but there's a communal one for everyone to use.
Yeah.
But this room we market as a double ensuite, but we often get without online bookings, you just get direct bookings where they want a family suite.
Yeah.
And we've often found that if a business guy is looking for a place to sleep, he doesn't want a family suite. He wants double ensuite. So we've added the extra bed into this room, and then because we have a lot of business people staying with us, we've added what you were talking about. Is it's a big workbench, a countertop.
Yeah,
that's got a nice comfortable chair next to it, so that business people can do their the emails and correspondence, what they need to do in the evenings.
Because often I find as a travel writer, when I sit down to do photographs or to write at the end of the day or the beginning of the day for that matter, I'm sitting in an uncomfortable spot. The desk is so tiny I can barely fit a laptop and a mouse on it. The chairs are uncomfortable. But in this particular case, it was glorious. And you look out over the garden, which is even better.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of business travel, and it's the worst thing coming back after days seminars or whatever, and then having to deal with correspondence, and then put your computer on your lap or on a coffee table.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
No.
The nice work counters I found very useful.
And then the door to the left leads you off into a really nice. When people say, is it a bathroom? It is, but it isn't, because it's a shower room, really. It's got a shower and a toilet and a basin.
Shower rooms is the way to go. Unfortunately, a bath is maybe a nice to have, but practically wise in a guest house, we've discovered we used to have a bathroom in a bathroom in one of the rooms, and two people have a bath, and the rest of the guest house has no hot water.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
specifically nowadays with load shedding, you want to preserve as much hot water as you possibly can.
Yes. So look, we drive or we've got two geysers in the bed and breakfast side that we use solar heating for, and which is very nice. It really works well. But of course, it only works when the sun is shining and
Correct.
not at night. Yeah. But yeah, that's just in front of that room that you stayed in.
Yep.
It's also a nice little social spot.
I really like it because I ended up sitting here in the early morning just listening to the bird calls. And the weirdest thing is watching herds of cows come walking down a suburban street. They didn't on this specific trip, but they have on a previous one. In fact, they stood outside your fence munching on your garden on the pavement lawn. I think they're employed by the council to keep the grass neat.
Yeah, we actually had a cow right across the road from, you could basically see it from there, a cow that dropped a calf right there.
Oh wow.
So, so it was quite interesting. They're kind of wild cows, but yeah, I suppose somebody owns them.
Never a dull moment. Just across
fun.
the way from the room we've just looked at is this room. Again, how do you choose the theme, or is the room themed, or do you just go, all right, we've got some stuff lying around, let's stick it in a room?
We call it subtle African style.
Okay.
Subtle African style. So it's got a little bit of theme with it. You can see the dancing ladies there
on the
and
pillows,
the warm colors of the headrests and the linen just makes it a warm, homely feel.
Yeah, and also I have to congratulate you, Brian, both you and Gerda, whoever does your interior design work, is that you're using proper bedside lamps. I have an issue with designers who believe that bedside lamps are more for display than for practicality. So you turn the thing on and it lights nothing except the base. So you can't read by it. I've stripped down lamps in rooms before. I've taken lampshades off so that I can use the light to read with. But these are proper and they're practical, and you get 100% for those.
And they're actually quite stylish. We've actually probably in the last 6 months bought almost every room has these now in it. We just find it looks nice and stylish, a little bit more modern than those.
It does indeed.
Ones.
Now, this to me, this is a third room, but I've focused in on the bathroom. Please ignore the toilet, people. That's I was going to say bog standard toilet, which it is, but this is what I really, really like, Brian. This repurposing of what looks like an old kitchen table into a vanity slab is genius. It really and truly is. I think if this is your design, I think you should patent it and market it.
No, it's actually it's a new counter that we bought, and this is the second one we've done in this way. The other one that we've done has got two small drawers that sit under the countertop that fit in quite snugly between the plumbing, so it's actually quite functional.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks nice. We looked at a lot of options when we started this bathroom, and we really thought that would really work nicely. Yeah.
No, I think it does, and I know that I think when you took me on the walkabout, I commented on this particular table to you at the time, saying very similar to what I just have. Yet another room with what I was told was an elephant folded into towels. It looks more like an Ewok from Star Wars. but be that as it may, this seems to be a new trend in guest lodges. These folded towels. I first came across them on a cruise. But the trouble for me, and I don't know if you found it with other guests, is you see the animal and you realize that it's made out of towels. And you realize that this is where your bath towel and your hand towel is. But then you go to have a shower and you go, where are the towels? And I've been halfway out of a door before to go to the reception and go, I have no towels.
We've had exactly the same story. Where's the towels? Right there on the bed, right there on the bed.
But I have to tell you, after I left you, I went to a game lodge and they had an elephant done in this manner on my bed. And then, of course, you have to deconstruct the thing to use the towels. Now, the elephant that I had at that lodge had eyes. And you know how sad I was to take the eyes off and to use the towel. I searched high and low to see if I couldn't find other towels. I did not want to destroy that elephant. I felt like a poacher.
Our girls do these little teddy bear things. They do the elephants. We've got swans that they do, and then a kind of elephant with baby combination.
Okay.
And then also like a water lily, the floating water lily. They do that as
beautiful.
well. So they get their bean in their bonnet every now and again, and they change it and do something different. It's quite nice.
Okay. You haven't had guests sort of fold these things up very carefully and put them just like this into a suitcase and then take them home with them?
Fortunately not.
Okay. All right. So
they have taken pictures, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's obviously a given. And then this is a new-ish addition to Tatenda. This particular hire, it's sponsored by one of your guests.
Yes, yeah, it's a wildlife the guy's a wildlife photographer, and he uses us as a base for his photography safaris.
Right.
And yeah, he needed somewhere where he could sit with his guests and teach them how to use their cameras. They sometimes buy a new lens or new camera when they come to South Africa, and then he sits in the hide and basically they look at different focal points and the different functionalities of the camera. But yeah, this is a nice little base for that to do that. We've got a little Wi-Fi hotspot in there, so they've got nice internet connectivity. So yeah.
And then that looks out over a small water feature, which has an inordinate amount of bird life.
Yeah, water feature sits there. We've got lots of bird life, and we've got a resident leguan that comes and visits there every now and again. And across the canal, there's a canal that runs along the side of the property. And across the canal, we get the banded mongoose that run up there. So it's quite nice. And it's also really nice just to sit in the evenings for a sundowner.
It is indeed. And then this is also a slightly different view of your main building from over another pond and through the garden. Because your gardens are spectacular. They really are. Were they there when you bought the property, Brian? Or is this something that you and Gerda have been working at?
Yeah, no, we've been working at a lot of stuff since we've got here. There was a fairly established garden, but it was not really my wife's style. You know, she wanted a little bit more color in it. So we've planted a lot more bulbs and plants that have got, colorful leaves.
Right.
It just it makes the whole garden pop. This picture you've put up there, we call that our boardroom. That's it's my wife and I sit there in the mornings, have a cup of coffee, and we discuss what we're going to be doing for the day.
Yeah, I can attest to that because I've come from a room that's off to the right of this picture and found the two of you sitting there.
Yeah,
I thought I was up early, but you guys beat me to it.
No, we're up always early. I can't think of a day that I've been up later than 7.
No, past 7, it's already the day's wasted. I get up now. Normally it's 6, and then I do all my work. So by 8 o'clock, my real work is almost done, which means I can spend the rest of the day doing whatever I like. But be that as it may, we're talking about Tatenda and you guys, not what I get up to during the course of a working day. What I love about this particular statue is the fact that she's wearing a necklace.
Yeah. That's about all she's wearing.
Yeah.
I know it's again, that a little bit of touch of color somewhere just make something pop,
Do
and
guests do guests comment on this? I mean, I know she's there and I know she's wearing a necklace, so that's why I take the picture. But if guests come to you and say, "Oh, I've seen that statue 3 or 4 times now, and I never realized she was wearing a necklace."
uh, no, we haven't really had comments on that on that on the necklace, but the monkeys like it. They come and sit on the lady's shoulder and play with it. Fortunately, they've never broken it or anything like that.
Okay.
But they play with it. Yeah, and every now and again you see it's wrapped around on the other side, and it's
Well,
the little
sparkly,
monkeys
so it
that come and
attracts
play
them.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talking about renovations, you've done a big renovation at the pool. It's looking beautiful.
yeah.
It was I always what's the word I'm looking for? Um, comment on pools, but I very seldom get into them. It's normally when my
Uh,
wife and I travel together. She's the one that tests the pool.
yeah, no, we did a lot of work. So at the back you can see the rails for the deck.
Right.
That's a completely new deck. We've had it renovated, put new deck on. David, can we pause?
Yes. Brian's just going off to take a telephone call, and while he does that, I'll let him go off and do that. Let's just chat about this pool area down the back. You may be able to see that there is a building down there which contains the self-catering, one of the self-catering rooms that Brian was referring to. I've stayed in that one. I've also stayed in this particular room here, just to the left. Brian's back. He's done whatever he needs to do.
My contractor is just arrived to start with the renovations.
Okay. So back to these renovations.
Okay,
You just mentioned that, Brian. I'm sure you just mentioned that because when those renovations are finished, no doubt I'll have to come back and stay there,
yes.
and then take more pictures, and we'll redo this interview.
No, okay. So on what we were talking about is the deck itself is all new.
Mm.
We've added on, you can't see it on the picture, but we've added a little afdak roof on the side where
Right.
there's
That's there.
a braai spot so the guests can braai next to the pool there. That's quite nice. There's a nice basin there. You can wash your hands while you're braaiing. And then the pool itself, we've struggled for years with a slightly murky pool, and we've discovered a new product.
Right.
It's shards that they use as a filter medium.
Mm.
It's actually quite effective. So we've recently put that in, and it's made quite a big difference on the clarity of the water.
Because it doesn't matter how good your water is, if it doesn't look clear, it's sort of off-putting for guests.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah,
walk up
yeah.
and it's either murky or it's slightly green, and they sort of go, did we make the right decision to stay here, type of thing.
Yeah,
Base
no,
everything off the color of the water in the pool.
yeah. Little do they understand or didn't understand is that we had thunderstorms 2 days ago, and
Yep.
the water just naturally turned green. So it's been a problem for a long time, but I've discovered this glass stuff that actually it's a finer filtration of the water, so it works very well.
Okay, so I have to
Anyway,
ask now, I know that you've got a brand new solar system in, which is stunning and beautiful and cost you an arm and a leg. Are you going to be able to heat your swimming pool now in the
are
colder
we
winter
going to?
months? Heat the pool.
Running your own business.
Yeah.
Okay, solar system.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So of course that's you do things in life to relieve stress, and putting that solar system in last year, January. So it's almost a year now that it's been in. Has been absolute change in life. It's welcoming guests in the dark with a torch is
Is not
pleasant. Yeah.
No, and it's not pleasant, because if they come from where they have solar, and now they've walk into a darkened guest house, they're already on the back foot, so to speak.
Yeah. It's also a lot of foreign guests that don't know what solar or load shedding is, and they arrive at our Tambo, drive through here, and get to town. The town is half dark. They don't know what's going on, and they get to us, and then they see the lights. They don't actually
Literally,
realize.
literally
They
and
don't realize.
figuratively.
That's it. Yeah.
And talking about
Or,
that's what I was going to say. That's a view from that deck, and you
yes.
would not believe that you were sitting in a thriving town,
Yeah. No,
looking at that. You could be
yeah,
anywhere
we
in
love that.
canopy.
We love that green belt that sits along the property. It
Yeah,
really makes it look and feel like you're right in the middle of the bush.
it does indeed. This is the slide I was looking, or the picture I was looking for. These lights are and I'm not talking about the center light. I'm talking about the sort of Christmassy type
Yes.
lights. Are they going to be permanently there, or was this
Yeah.
just for Christmas? Because I was
No,
with you
no.
guys just before Christmas.
Yeah, we put it there permanently
Okay.
because you have people that have birthday parties, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. They celebrate their birthdays by us.
Mm.
And yeah, so it's nice to have a little bit of colorful lights for them to sit underneath.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this whole area is do you find, because on this side, as you said, this side of the property is more for the self-catering people. Do you find that people who are staying there who don't know each other share the space and then become, I want to say in inverted commas, friends for the duration of their stay?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's a nice social get together place.
Mm.
We've had people just spontaneously sharing the braai.
Right.
Oh, okay, let's share the braai together, and then they'll pull the tables together and sit as a big group together. We've had that quite often. It's really nice.
You know, Brian, I think this is the difference between sort of a guest house, a game lodge, and a hotel. Because with hotels, you walk in, you go to reception, you go to your room, you come down, you go to breakfast, you sit at the same table. You and the other guests in the hotel have absolutely nothing in common other than you're staying
Yeah,
in the same space. You go out for the day, you don't know where the other has gone to. Whereas with Tatenda here and with game lodges, you know where you're going.
yeah,
Most of your guys are going, most of your guests are going to Kruger, or they're going somewhere close by. Everybody comes back. They've had similar experiences. And it's
that's
really
it. Yeah,
great then to sit as a group, discuss what they did during the day, and maybe group A that went to Kruger tell group B about it, who went to the
the
panorama route.
panorama.
And
Yeah,
and then they change the next day because of what they've heard. So they get to see and experience a whole lot more, which is told to them in a very personal manner by people who have just experienced it.
that's it. Yeah, no, it's really that sharing of experience that we really enjoy to see. We try to do to group people together, especially if we've got only two guests, for example. We'll put them up at the self catering units, and then
Mm.
they'll meet and they'll chat there.
Have you ever had single people arrive as singles and then leave as a couple?
Yes. We've actually had a guest arrived as a single person, met someone,
Mm.
and then they decided no, they're going to continue their tour through South Africa together.
Oh, that's wonderful. Are they
Yeah. So
still
that was quite
together?
nice. No. They decided just to stick together for the 2 weeks that
That's
they were
fair
going to
enough.
be traveling. Yeah.
That's fair
So
enough.
no, that was really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you put that as part of your offering on your website?
Social
We're
networking.
we're a dating guest house.
No.
And then for those who are in the bed and breakfast side, like I was, you get this for breakfast and this view, which is absolutely spectacular.
No, it's an absolutely amazing view that we certainly pride ourselves on using that deck. We try as much as possible to put our guests out there. Of
Mm.
course, it's a challenge when there's rain.
Yeah, obviously.
We're thinking of putting a sort of an awning type thing up there to be able to have a bit of more time out there. But it's just an amazing deck.
Because for dinner, the dinner that I shared with you that particular evening, we had a bat land on that deck, which we enabled to get off. I don't know if he's made a reappearance. If you know,
No.
well, let's hope he survived, because your cats tend to wander about there as well.
Yeah, the nice thing with a deck, it's kind of elevated almost in the half into the canopy of the trees. So you have the birds that are right close to you. We've also had bush babies come down onto the deck.
Right.
So that's quite nice, yeah.
That's awesome, and you can share. No, you don't want to share your breakfast with the wildlife, because that just encourages them even more. Brian, once again, we're running out of time. Can you believe that? This is what happens. Time flies when you're having fun. Website, do people need to book? Because I know that you guys are very busy. You have a lot of international guests coming through there, and you don't want people to be disappointed. So Easter weekend is just around the corner already, would you believe? So it's time to book for that.
No, the best is to get in early and book. That's all I can suggest, is online on directly with us or through one of the booking platforms. But as soon as possible, that's the best we can do.
Your website address, Brian?
It's www.tatendaguesthouse.com.
Tatenda Guest
On there
House.
you'll find the link.
.com, just to remember that it's not .co.za. I'm amazed that after all these years on with the internet being around, we all do it. We all still go www. We know it's there. You can't get in without it.
It's even automatically populated if you start typing.
It does indeed. Sometimes it can give you very interesting destinations without you even asking for it. It's like predictive text. It's a game I play sometimes with my phone. I'll start a word and let's see what they finish up with. Talking about the Easter weekend, though, do you still have space available? If people are watching this now in January, can they still book, or is it too late for that?
Easter weekend, we still have space available, so
great.
Go for it.
All right, so tatendaguesthouse.com with the www is where you will find Brian and Gerda, who will be
in
there
Hazyview.
In Hazyview. Hospitality at its very best in hot and humid Hazyview, as per your description this morning. Brian, it's always great to chat to you. I see one of the cats has just joined you. Is that Sparks? There he is. He wants to make certain that he's seen.
There we go.
Yeah, what a gorgeous boy. All righty, Sparks.
Okay,
thank
David,
you so
thank
much.
you very much.
We started and ended with you, literally and figuratively. Brian, always good to talk to you. My guest today on In Conversation With has been Brian Chalmers at Tatenda Guest House in Hazyview. You can find them on www.tatendaguesthouse.com. Brian, once again, thanks for joining me this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, David.